Hey, my name is Sandeep Tekchandani. I'm the founder of Sandeep.mba and welcome to my GMAT video lesson. Before I teach you fractions, I would like to say something. Fractions are important. They are important because fractions tell you what portion of a whole you need, have, or want. Fractions are a part of our everyday life. Fractions are used in baking cakes to tell how much of an ingredient to use. Fractions are also used in telling time. For example, each minute is a fraction of the hour, and each second is a fraction of the minute. So, in this presentation, I'll teach you the basics of fractions. Then we will learn what are equivalent fractions, how to add and subtract fractions, and eventually how to multiply and divide fractions. So let's start with the basics. What are fractions? How do fractions look like? What is the form of a fraction? The form of a fraction is n upon d, where n is called the numerator and d is called the denominator. For example, in the fraction half, 1 is called the numerator and 2 is called the denominator. The denominator of a fraction can never be 0 because division by 0 is not defined. For example, 3 upon 0 is undefined. In this slide, we will study what are equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions represent the same number. Let me illustrate this point with the help of an example. 8 is to 36 and 14 is to 63 are equivalent fractions since they both represent the number 2 is to 9. We know that 4 times 2 is 8 and 4 times 9 is 36. Therefore, 8 is to 36 represents the number 2 is to 9. We know that 7 times 2 is 14 and 7 times 9 is 63. Therefore, 14 is to 63 represents the number 2 is to 9. The fraction is reduced to the lowest terms by dividing both numerator and denominator by their greatest common divisor. The greatest common divisor of 8 and 36 is 4, and the greatest common divisor of 14 and 63 is 7. In this slide, we will study how to add and subtract fractions. Fractions can be added or subtracted anytime, but they must follow certain rules. Let's study those rules. If two fractions have the same denominator, then they can be added or subtracted by performing the required operation with the numerators, leaving the denominators the same or untouched. For example, say I have two fractions. The first fraction is 1 upon 9 and the second fraction is 7 upon 9. I want to add them. Please observe that the denominator of the first fraction is 9 and that of the second fraction is also 9. So we can add their numerators. I will add their numerators 1 plus 7 and we know that 1 plus 7 is equals to 8. Therefore, our answer will be 8 upon 9. Another example, 3 upon 7 minus 2 upon 7 has the same denominator, 7. Therefore, I can subtract their numerators. That is, in the next step, I'll write 3 minus 2 upon 7, and we know that 3 minus 2 is 1. Therefore, our answer will be 1 upon 7. There is one more rule regarding the addition and subtraction of fractions. The rule is if two fractions do not have the same denominator, that is, if their denominators are unequal, then you must express them as equivalent fractions with the same denominators. In simple words, you must make their denominators equal. In order to do this, you must first calculate the least common multiple of the denominators. Let me show you how. For example, 2 upon 3 plus 4 upon 5. We can see that the denominator of the first fraction is 3 and that of the second fraction is 5. Therefore, they are unequal. So, I'm going to take the least common multiple of 3 and phi, which we know is 15. In the next step, I'll express 2 upon 3 is equals to 10 upon 15 and 4 upon 5 is equals to 10 upon 15. Now the denominators have become equal, that is 15. So I'll go ahead and add their numerators, which are 10 and 12. So 10 upon 15 plus 12 upon 15 will give us 22 upon 15. In this slide, we will study how to multiply fractions. Fractions can be multiplied anytime. If you want to multiply two fractions, then multiply the two numerators and multiply the two denominators. For example, 3 upon 4 times 7 upon 8. I'll multiply the two numerators, that is 3 times 7, and then I'll multiply the two denominators, that is 4 times 8. 3 times 7 is equals to 21 and 4 times 8 is equals to 32. Therefore, our answer is 21 upon 32. In this slide, we will study how to divide fractions. Please keep this rule in mind. To divide by a fraction, invert the divisor. That is, you must find its reciprocal and then multiply. For example, 3 upon 5 divided by 7 upon 8. What I'll do is, I'll take the divisor, that is 7 upon 8, and invert it. Make it 8 upon 7 and then multiply it by 3 upon 5. In the next step, I'll go ahead and multiply the two numerators and then multiply the two denominators, which are 7 and 5 respectively. So 8 times 3 is 24 upon 7 times 5 is 35. So the answer is equals to 24 upon 35. So let's just encapsulate. What did we learn in this video lesson? We learned about the basics of fractions. Then I taught you what are equivalent fractions. They represent the same number. Then I also gave you some rules regarding the addition and subtraction of fractions. And eventually we studied how to multiply and divide fractions. I hope my GMAT video lesson was clear and it will help you to approach each and every quantitative reasoning question in the exam with full confidence. That is all, my friends. If you found my video lesson helpful, then you should go to sandeep.mba for more information on the GMAT, how to prepare for the GMAT and applying to business schools. You should also click on that like button and let me know in the comments which topics you would like me to cover in my future video lessons. And of course, if you have not yet subscribed, then go ahead and click on that bell so that you'll get notified about my future video lessons. All the best.